Just like it's kind of questionable to see what's going to happen with Star Wars these days, because Dave Filoni is taking over right now in a new way. And if you've been watching the Star Wars franchise, Dave Filoni's been getting a bigger cut of the pie lately when it comes to creative. Now, of course, he was signed on to be the chief creative officer of Lucasfilms. Now, he's not over Kathleen Kennedy, but instead, before, when he first became executive vice president, he was able to look at everything at the very end product and be like, this works, this doesn't work, change this, change that. Kind of like Kevin Feige was doing in the beginning of his career, but now becoming the chief creative officer, he's able at the very beginning of every project be like, we should do this, we should do that, change this, tweak this, make this fall into Jedi lore this way. And so he's going to have his fingers on everything from the very beginning to the very end of every project of Star Wars moving forward. Now, some people might not like this. Some people might, because again, he worked with George Lucas back in the day. He was under Lucas during the prequel series, and he learned from him. And after that, he made this Clone Wars, all the spin-offs and stuff like that based off of Lucas's lore. And he wanted to follow that forward. Hence why when he did Ahsoka, when he's done Mandalorian, and he's making, Thrawn come in, he's trying to make this in between the franchises, kind of tying with George Lucas's theology, kind of. So for me, I feel like if you're a Lucas fan, you'll probably be super excited about this. I didn't mind Ahsoka. I thought it was pretty fun when I watched it. It didn't do as well as the other one. Now they have greenlit a second season. He was saying that, we're talking about it, but there have been rumors saying they have greenlit a second season of this. Again, Mando probably will come back for a fourth season, and he is making this whole connective tissue that's going to lead into a movie that he's going to be directing as well. That's going to bring all these universes together into one movie, one big battle against Thrawn probably, and then from that point forward, we will finally see an end to his franchise, but he will still be attached to everything. I heard he's actually working on the new Rey movie too, that's going to take place after The Rise of Skywalker. So he has his hands in all of this. Mike, you hear about this. Did you like Ahsoka? Do you think he's the man for the job? Because before, he was just kind of like growing there. He's got a little bit here. Favreau was kind of in charge before. Do you think he's the man, though, over Favreau to take place? And do you think he'll eventually replace Kathleen Kennedy? And this is the path he's going.
I don't know, Brian. I don't know that I have a lot to contribute on this subject. I watched episode 5, a portion of episode 5 and all of episode 6 today because my niece wanted to marathon this shit at her cousin's house. He's got a full theatrical setup, which is great. I don't know about Filoni. I don't know where he's going to go. I don't know if he's the right person to trust for this. I don't know, Brian.
He's a big Star Wars guy. Did you like the Lucas way, though? Because he is going to be like kind of bringing Lucas into this new Star Wars franchise. Queen says that he's a good choice. He probably knows more about Star Wars than anyone else, of course, because he was like best friends with George Lucas. So I mean, I think that.
So the thing about Lucas that is in my forefront because I was just watching these is whoever is in charge of the Star Wars universe, and you can say this for everybody that has these massive, like, gigantic steamboat universes that are impossible to turn, like that have so many moving parts. Like, you need some other people who are willing to say no to the creative director of the thing. Like, because that, I think, is what the original Star Wars series, the first 3 had going for it. People said, George, this shit is crazy. Okay, you got to chill your ass, bring this down to basics. And I think that bringing down to basics is what made that series. Because basically, because I was watching the revamped version of the initial trilogy, and you got like the song going after they're in Jabba's palace, like these crazy aliens singing in CG. Like, it's a really, really strange choice, and I just hate to see. I think that Filoni has probably learned from this. I don't think he's going to make changes that are. Or he's going to make choices that are quite that strange. But I want to make sure that moving forward, especially because we've just got that massive Disney cash, bank behind them, like that they're being as responsible as they can. I want creatives up and down the board, but I want people that are saying no in there.
Yeah, which is what he's going to be that person though now, Mike, because Kathleen Kennedy hasn't been. He's like the face of Star Wars now. I saw Warren shaking his head though. So Warren, do you not like Dave Filoni's path or his direction for Star Wars? Do you think that this is a bad choice by him being in charge? I mean, Kathleen Kennedy is still the higher up, but he's going to be the main creative force apparently moving forward.
I think people need to leave Star Wars alone. Star Wars is done. We are tired. No more. If you want to do Star Wars, go and see the novels. There's one called Rogue Wars. It's got Luke going to different planets helping people out. Do that shit. Stop rehashing the same shit over and over again. We're in the galaxy. I get that. You have a lightsaber. I get that. Look, let me tell you something. The best Star Wars movie ever made on the planet is Empire Strikes Back. You cannot deny that. Now, I watch Andor. I think Andor is great. Don't need a second season. I watch Obi-Wan. Don't need a second season. Ahushka or whatever her name is, I don't watch that. Ahsoka. Yeah, I can't get that. And the only reason why I watch Mandalorian because my friends work on it. And I keep calling it Baby Yoda, and they keep calling it the child. I said, look, if any child looks like that with ears like that, he's a gremlin. I'm telling you, leave Star Wars alone.
Thank you, Warren.
They need to shut down. Everybody who's working on Star Wars should be to get better jobs at Disney and leave Star Wars alone. Star Wars is done. It is done. We are tired unless you're going to give us something different and stop rehashing the same old shit. I hate when I hear behind the scenes of Star Wars, and you know what people say? How cool is it to be in Star Wars? I never hear anything about character. I never hear anything about story. All I hear is about somebody's on a planet, they're dressed up in Darth Vader suits, and they want to do something. Who gives a shit? It's not Darth. Okay, enough. I'm going to say no. Leave Star Wars alone.
Like Queen just said, there are still fans that want to see more stuff. What do you say to them?
Well, I'm going to tell the fans this. Make them all black Star Wars. Let's talk about that.
Let's talk about that. Let's get into that shit. I'm about that, Warren.
Actually, I'm going to say on record that I actually have a short script, and it's called Rebel Fugitive, because I've never seen an all-black Star Wars or a black person direct Star Wars, because black people are fans too. My auntie still has the original 1973 or 4 or 5 soundtrack on vinyl. And I told her it's worth millions if you don't believe me. So it's like, she used to play it all the time when we were little. And I got a chance to see John Williams out here at the Hollywood Bowl give me a little bit of that Empire Strikes Back, give me some of that Imperial March.
Star Wars is all about John Williams.
I like this guy. This guy's a nice guy.
There's no Star Wars without John Williams.
There's no Star Wars without him. It's like I look at these other. I watch the Star Wars so I can have something to say about them, but I watch them and there's such a rehash that everybody is saying "yo" and screaming and lightsaber. Enough. Kylo Ren was the biggest brat I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. I was like, oh my God, Star Wars. You know what they should have had? They should have seen a Darth just walk in there, whoop his ass, and walk out, because it would have just been refreshing. Rogue War, however, that's what I think.
What about that?
That's what I think Star Wars in the future should be. It should be a different story. If you're going to have an intergalactic lore, that's fine. Stop giving us these rehashed characters that we all love. I love Darth ever since I was a child. No problem. I didn't like that Luke and Leia are brother and sisters. I like them as lovers. I like that Han was trying to get that and they was trying to do a threesome. I love that. But do not give me the same characters over and over and over again. Enough. That last Star Wars film, the only good thing about it was the spaceships and the credits. That was it. It was all everybody screaming. They got these magical horses with silver tails. I'm like, what the hell is this, Sonic? It's just ridiculous. I'm done. I'm going to say no.
Shit.
That's my vote.
Yeah. Queen was saying a Mace Windu movie. I mean, Richard Tracy was saying there are people that, are still like pushing for this. And, I think a Mace Windu movie could be good. Sam Jackson hasn't enough jobs, I think, these days, but I still think he'd be great. That fool
they'd have to drop him $20 million to get him to show up.
All he does is work. He's on set.
I've seen an interview with Sam, and he said that somebody asked him why he works so much, and he says, I don't want to be broke again.
Good point. GR, you hear all this. Do you think that this, I don't know if you know who Filoni is, if you saw the new stuff, but do you think that's somebody that worked hand in hand? Because, of course, Disney bought Lucasfilms from George Lucas. They went their own route. Do you think it's good to have somebody that was in Lucas's pocket to be taken over creatively for the Star Wars franchise moving forward? Or do you think this could be really bad for the franchise? They should do something different? Or like Warren says, maybe should they just fucking stop doing this? What do you think?
I agree with Warren. I mean, to be very honest, the middle 3 of the original 9, all 3 of them sucked.
Oh, shots fired, GR.
Pardon?
Shots fired.
Hey, I call it like I see it. I mean, The last three were better than those three, but none of them could touch the first three. And I think we had Star Wars overload. I mean, do something original. How's that for an idea?
Yeah, the originality, like, that's all about making money and selling toys when it comes to Star Wars. I did like that Ahsoka.
Saying that when Sabrina tells you to make originals.
And my story in my Star Wars fan movie is pretty simple. He has a secret that they're going to attack, and his brother wants to be trained as a Jedi, so he keeps the secret. And he actually is the designer of the Stormtrooper gear, and it's an all black cast. And I want to do it because I want to see something different. There's a lot of groups that love Star Wars. And I think I've seen maybe one black director, a co-director, and I want to direct some of the stuff that Favreau and stuff has on there, because Rick Famuyiwa is one of the directors on The Mandalorian, and he's done this movie Dope, The Wood, and a lot of other great films that he's done, and he loves Star Wars. And he's Nigerian. He's super duper, man. He's a great director. And I'm like, I want to see the stories. And the stories I was talking about with the novel, I was in Barnes and Noble back in the day, and I just picked something up. It was Star Wars. And I opened it up, and it said Rogues. I think it said Rogue Wars or something. And I just literally just opened it up. As soon as I opened it up, I went to a page where Luke Skywalker was going to these distant planets. If any of you guys know about Incredible Hulk, the TV show with Bill Bixby, he was going to different towns and doing all those kinds of things. So Luke Skywalker was doing that in the galaxies, and it was so dope because you met new people. It wasn't just about Tatooine. It's like, okay, enough. Didn't Tatooine blow up? I'm tired of that. Let's go to another planet like Jupiter and Saturn. See if if they got good soup. You know what I'm saying? It's wintertime. So it's just like, why couldn't he go to different ones? And then what's the situation with the Jedi? If the Jedi's dead, why do we keep bringing him back? If the Jedi is dead, what is the fan service saying? Why did the fans love? This is what they should put out in the world. Why do you love,
Brian, in universe
Star Wars? That's what it should be.
Yeah.
Why do you love it?
I'm still fascinated, though, because Filoni is a big fan of the franchise.
What? I can do lightsaber dancing all day long. Why do you love Star Wars?
It's a dance. They're dancing. I think good call.
I think like any fan I love the lightsaber battles, but then again, they have not been that good these days. I was watching Ahsoka, and they were like very slow, and it wasn't even like they were fighting. When Hayden Christensen came in to play Anakin Skywalker again, he kicked ass. He was like, like doing like back in the day, and you could tell all these people just couldn't deal with it. The Jedi's continuing to look at Mr. Sutherland here in the chat. The Jedi's continuing force. Nothing will end then. Yeah, nothing will end, Sean. Nothing will end. It's always going to keep going. That's just what they're doing.
Philosophical on us, Sean. Yeah. Thank you.
But I love the lightsaber battles. I think there's some good ideas in the chat. The Wookiee story would be fun. Mace Windu. There's a lot of spin-offs you can do, but do something original, which is what Filoni's trying to do, but it's still not, it's still tying into everything. And you know what? They will not recast Luke Skywalker or anything like that. So like, let's just make new characters. Make a new franchise, move it forward, and Rey's gonna come back. And I hear they're gonna have maybe Mark Hamill might come back too for that franchise. So that's something they're talking about, but I will have to wait and see. But Filoni is in charge. Oh God.
See, the dog disapproves. He already disapproves.
He's not happy. Peppy is not happy.
Not happy at all about Star Wars.
They are not happy.
Queen, let me say this while Peppy's speaking up. I watched the original 3 with my niece who's 19. She said I asked her with no input on my part. I said, "What rank these movies? What was your number one?" And she said, the third movie, aka number 6. Number 6 is number 1. She loved the Ewoks. And I was thinking after watching that, I might look into furry culture, because dressing up in a tiny bear suit and dancing around and celebrating looked like a really good time to me.
Well, I'm going to tell you something, Mikey. You want to be an Ewok, you can smoke as much weed as you want because you go right out here in California. Trust me, they will call you all kinds of things, but the child of God. That Return of the Jedi is the worst Star Wars movie ever made on the planet.
See, I didn't want to
horrible. The best thing about that movie is the speeder bikes. I was like, why are they in the speeder bikes? Why are we in the forest? What are we doing? Mm-hmm. What is this, Willow Part 2? I don't get it. No.
it might as well have been, though, basically.
And then, I don't know if you've ever watched the show. ABC had a show. It was the Ewok Adventure.
Yeah, dude, I've been watching the freaking the animated series, like the Ewoks.
Yeah, okay, Mike, you know what? You know what?
Laziest goddamn theme song I've ever heard in my life.
Mike, 1-800-555-HELP, because that is not going to do it.
Anyways, Richard Tracy said, are they doing a 10? Yes, 10 is going to be the Rey story moving forward. She's going to have a new Jedi Order that she's going to be training, and that's where they're going to continue off of Rise of Skywalker. They are doing episode 10, and it's going to be called The Rise. I think it's called it's some Skywalker, but she is going to be training the new Jedi and moving forward. The Battle of Endor is awesome, but I mean, I just don't know, like, if we need any more Star Wars.